Good day, guys. Austin here, and in this one today, it's the news. So let's have a look at what's been going on this week in our little worlds. Okay, then first off, front-end news. We've got Launchbox. Oh my god, OMG. That's the new thing for the hipsters now, isn't it? OMG, Launchbox has just become a new 6.0 beta stage. Now, for those of you who don't know, listen and wait. Anticipation on your fingertips right now, because there is a huge leap in terms of what this puppy can do. So I'll talk about that in just a second. In terms of emulation news then, Sega Model 3 and Demul. For those of you who haven't been keeping tabs, this puppy is ramping up. It's been out for some time. Both of them are, I don't know, prehistoric emulators in terms of what's been released lately. But in terms of how far these have advanced in a little short term of time, you're going to be gobsmacked, trust me. Okay, next up then, Cemu. Oh my god, I did a dedicated video on this, so I don't know why I'm making another one. However, this little puppy is massive. Now, I didn't realise just how playable this was. I've now configured, overclocked and done everything to my computer to get this to run as intended by the developer. And Jesus wept. It is playing awesomely. But again, we'll go into that in detail in just a second. And last of all, there's a new Tato Type X type game. That's a tongue twister. Tato Type X Type 2 game. Yeah, basically it's a new arcade-based game. And we'll be looking at this in just a second. It's not even one that you probably want in your system, but for laughability, top notch. So anyway, guys, let's get stuck in. Okay then, first up we've got Launchbox. Now this is an awesome front end, and the developer over there, Jason Carr, and his minions of course, they've come on leaps and bounds with this thing. Now, for those of you, keep tabs on my channel, you'll know that I've released a video in giving a review, giving an initial setup, and a pretty much overall look at this front end. Since then, oh my god, the amount of work him and his team have put into this is absolutely unbelievable. Now, in terms of where does this rank in terms of front end, it's in there. It's in the top 2. It's in the top 1 even, depending on what you are looking at in a front end. Now, its main draws is basically the fact it's so simple, it's so intuitive, it's feature rich. You can do absolutely anything. You can search for a certain game, you can search for a certain genre, you can search for a year, a make, a developer, the game itself. You can, I don't know, set them into different systems, you can catalog them in different orders, you can choose whatever boxes you use, videos you use, all that kind of good stuff. And it is so simple and intuitive in terms of setting it up, in terms of using it. It's all there, it's all at your fingertips, and that's what sets this apart from the rest. There is none that even come close to the kind of intuitive setup that this has got. If you were a beginner and you knew nothing about emulation, if you knew nothing about front ends, this is where you start. And to be honest, in many cases, this is probably where you'd finish, because there isn't much need to go any further. However, enough of my ass licking, because it had one caveat. From my interpretation, of course, this is my humble opinion, but back in the day, and since then, it's never had the feature-rich bling, it's never had the wow factor, and that's what let it down in my interpretation. Of course, it was good, it was clean, it looked beautiful. As you can see, there is nothing to put this at in any kind of way down. However, now, this is what we've got. This is what we have become accustomed to. And this is what was just released a matter of, a week, 2 weeks maybe ago. For those of you lucky enough to take part in the beta or the beta stuff that's been going on, this is what you are getting. In other words, what he's done is he's taken what was the only option in terms of the layout. You had the list down the side, of course, completely functional. You had the video at the bottom, you had your system or cases at the top, write-ups, all that kind of good stuff. And that's for another video, the kind of stuff that he's done for that kind of setup. However, what he's now done is enabled wheels, so in other words, it's taken draws from the hyperspin stuff. So now you get feature-rich logos for each game that you possess, and you can use them and you could abuse them because they look absolutely awesome. He's also changed layouts, so now you can have horizontal screening, you can have vertical screening. He's bringing a lot more feature-rich functionality to it, so you can actually choose which one you want for your systems, what kind of setup. You can choose the kind of boxes that you want to put in there. You've always been able to do that, but now you can get the kind of look that you want. Also, the big one that's coming along is this kind of showcase. You can showcase all your covers and artwork with a cover flow, so you can flick you through your entire collection intuitively, rather than going up and down lists, rather than flicking through all the jargon and stuff. You can just go through all the covers and choose whatever you want. Now he's also, this is only the beta stages of course now, but he's also looking into making it so people can develop their own layouts, can develop their own themes, and I think that is the way to go, because again, it was the one thing that was letting this puppy down. You had everything. You had everything, Jason. You had it in the palm of your hands, and you let it go. But now you've picked up that ball, and you are running with it, my friend, because this is an awesome evolution. Now I look forward to seeing what you've done with this and what you will release in the full version. So we'll keep good tabs on this one. But for now, let's move on. Okay then, emulation then. Oh, I've been pumping out emulator guides recently. That's because with the front end stuff going on, I don't know, there's a lot of politics in the way. But we've been having a few emulation updates, and big ones at that. As we spoke about, SuperModel and Demul, two different emulators. SuperModel is basically the Sega, pretty modern arcade emulator. It plays all the classics, you know, Sega Rally 2. Loads of decent games on there. Virtua Fighters, I think it's one of the new Virtua Fighters. Yeah, this one. It's awesome. And what they've been doing is, it's been out for years, but the problem is that some of the games were glitchy. Some of the games wouldn't even load. So it's been neglected for some time. It's just been stood there on a website and nobody has touched it at all. However, in the last few weeks, maybe a couple of months, guys have been jumping all over this, and updates are coming almost on a daily basis. It's absolutely unbelievable the kind of progress these have made. Some games are now fully playable. Some games have got rid of all the glitches altogether. Some of them still remain. However, because this is still being worked on, I mean right now, right at this second that I'm talking into this microphone, somebody's beavering away on a Sega game getting it to work for us guys, and that's one hell of a lucky thing. So hats off to that. I'll be keeping close tabs on the Sega Model 3, and if it does get a stable release, I'll probably look into making a full emulation guide for that. Okay then, Demul. This is basically, again, it can emulate arcade for the Sega. So this is basically your Naomi boards, Autonomous Wave, how you pronounce that, a few others, I can't even think about them. But its main draw is basically the Dreamcast. It emulates also the Dreamcast games. And what an awesome emulator it is. Now, back in the day, if you want to emulate your Dreamcast, you have to use, if you want the entire catalogue, you have to use a few emulators to get it to all to work. Now, it's because Null DC, awesome emulator, but it's got its flaws. Some games it will not play at all due to licensing issues, due to its program issues. Some of them just due to glitches and the developer hanging up his hat and moving on to brighter things, i.e. raycast and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of getting the overall performance, you then have to fill in the gaps with Demul, if not vice versa. You know, go for Demul and fill the gaps with Null DC. Depends on which your favourite emulator was for the systems. For me, it was Null DC, then Demul. However, like I've just been waffling on about, Demul has come on leaps and bounds. They've picked up the ball with this also. They're bringing compatibility to all kinds of new games, especially the arcade-based ones. So those Star Wars arcade games that were absolutely awesome, but had hell of a lot of glitches going on. Now you can blow up the Death Star. Let's put it that way. And who can argue with that one? Okay then, moving on then. Cemu 1.5.1. Now I've released a emulator guide for this, and it was in the 1.5.0. Now when the 0.1 on the end got released, obviously I'm not going to do a whole new video for it. It was only a minor update. However, that minor update unleashed my system. It's like it took the chains off it, and now games run full speed. Now, Cemu is not 100% emulator in terms of playing all the games. It plays I don't know, a handful. Well, probably more than a handful. It probably plays, I don't know, around 30% of the entire Wii U catalogue, and the ones that it does play, it plays them damn well. All the best ones, all the favourites, are the most playable ones. So you're looking at Super Mario 3D World, you're looking at, I don't know, all the Super Mario stuff, basically. If it's Super Mario, it's probably working. Splatoon I've been getting on with. What a game! That's awesome. I didn't realise it was that good, to be honest. But yeah, awesome development. Now, I've got a dedicated video for that. Again, links down below. I'll put links to everything that I'm mentioning in the description down below, so you can have a look and get more in-depth knowledge rather than listen to me talk about it. Now for the crowning glory for this video. Valve Limit R. Oh my god. Now, for those of you who, again, keep tabs on my channel, you'll know that from time to time I release Taito Type X type games. So basically, the well-known one is Taito Type X games. So basically, a PC inside an arcade cabinet, and therefore your more up-to-date games like Street Fighter 4, I don't know, King of Fighters kind of stuff going on, Battle Fantasia, really are awesome games. Now, the problem is that there is probably well over 100 of these games. Some of them haven't even been dumped. Some of them, well, the majority of them have not been cracked. So although they're working in arcades and although they're working on a PC, no one's been able to take the security off them, and again, nobody's been able to get it so it translates from the arcade kind of controls into controls that we can use either with a joypad or our arcade setups. So, you know, they're hardly playable. However, one of these that's been unavailable up to now is Valve Limit R. Jesus wet, what a game! Now this looks like a complete rip-off of, I don't know, Fast and Furious kind of stuff. It's a racing game, you've got neons going on, it looks mint. However, check this out. Now, who the hell made this game? Of course, like I said, I'll put links in the description down below. You can probably download this, you can probably get it working. I got no idea. It's more of a comedy factor to have this crack core coming on your screen every now and again. And you even get to choose which one as well. Who the hell developed this? Now, I know this isn't a real person, so please, I'm not putting anybody down for the looks or anything like that, because this is obviously a computer sprite. But who the hell would think that this would entice players to play the game? You know, this is probably the most ugliest women wearing a bikini on the screen ever. Oh, I don't know. I just thought I'd put this at the end because I don't know who the hell would have the balls or the tenacity to actually make something like this and release it onto the general public. So that's it then, guys. That's the news for this week, basically. There's lots more stuff that I would like to put in here, but I just wanted to get this out for a tester, because this is the first one. So I want to try and get the format right, rather than the content at this point. So if anybody has got any decent content, what they'd like to add, please give me a shout. I've got loads that I want to put in, but I'm always welcome to ideas from you guys. Also, I am crap at this 3D kind of stuff in computers. So if anybody's good at making intros, I'd like some kind of newsy intro for this. I've got no idea. If anybody can help out with that kind of stuff, please do, because I ain't got a clue where to start. I only learned how to make these videos like a year ago, and I'm still learning now, as you can tell. But yeah, thank you for all the people in this scene, to be honest, and thank you for all the help that you guys have been doing for me. I'm going to try and get these out at least weekly, just to get the main gossip of what's happening in the world of emulation, front ends, gaming, and all that kind of good stuff. Basically, I haven't got time to make a video for everything that I want to put out there. Some of them are very good for you guys and very informative, all the information and the new news and the emulator stuff, but maybe it doesn't warrant a whole dedicated video. It does take up a hell of a lot of time just to edit them, for God's sake. So it's easier for me just to put them all into one thing every now and again and get the information out to you. And for that stuff that needs to be in detail, well, I can do a whole dedicated thing that goes on for 4 hours as per normal. But yeah, that's what I'm going for, guys, and I hope that it treats you to some kind of knowledge that you didn't know about at this moment in time. But anyway, thank you very much for watching me, guys. Please like, please subscribe, please do the thing that people normally do when they watch the YouTubey kind of stuff. But most of all, guys, most of all, you have a good day. Laters!